Hey everyone, today I'm going to go over Heroic Sinestra from the tank POV. To start off, I'm over here with the rest of the raid. If you have anybody in your raid that can benefit from backstabbing though, you can just be on the opposite side to allow them to hit the back. But since we didn't have anybody that could in our raid, I'm just over here chilling with the raid. During this part of the fight, you're not really going to take a lot of damage. Sinestra is going to have a debuff, minus 40% damage. So the big damage is going to come later, but you can look to use like AMS, things like that for the Flame Breath. These whelps are going to need to be picked up by the off tank. And when they die, they're going to drop a puddle on the ground that will resurrect the whelps. But after the first time they die, they will no longer drop that puddle when they die. So basically the idea is we're going to group up 2 waves of whelps. We're going to kill them all. They're going to drop the puddles, and then we're going to move them out of the puddles. We're going to kill them again. So that's kind of how you deal with them. We generally do that though. We get like 2 sets of whelps before we worry about killing them. We don't just kill them like every time they spawn. The puddles will expand just gradually, so you really want to drop them like far away. So here we've phased. We got Sinestra low enough, so the whelps, you can see they're going to be brought to the back here. And just really far back here so we can drop the puddle like way away from the area we're kind of using for the fight. And then the tank will keep all their threat when their whelps resurrect, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, just drag them out of the puddle, kill them again, and you're good to go. So now we're just gonna hit Sinestra for a little bit to deplete her mana a bit. The ads that we're looking for are gonna spawn pretty soon, but you have a bit of time. So one tank is gonna pick up the Spike Collar in the back here. It'll come from this like flame wall. The other tank is gonna pick up the Twilight Drake. You really want the tank that tanks Sinestra to get the Twilight Drake because it does a shadow damage frontal breath. And the tank that took the whelps is going to have a stacked up increased shadow damage taken debuff. So they'll take a lot more damage from this shadow breath. This Spike Collar is kind of interesting because you don't want to use interrupts or stuns on them. But they have a really important cast that needs to be stopped. So the way you do this, either like gouge, blind, death grip from a DK, things like that. That's how we're going to deal with it. So you can see there one of our DKs gripped it out to interrupt that. And the Twilight Drake just facing that away from the raid. We're going to move over here shortly. Our DPS are working on some eggs on each side over here. And when they do get those down, then phase 3 is going to begin. But these ads are going to keep spawning until the DPS get those down. So typically we're only going to get 1 Spike Collar and 1 Drake, but in this case we had to go another round on the eggs, so we got more of the ads spawning. Just tank these together for cleave as well. And then we're going to be moving over here. Just kind of keep an eye on the breath and make sure you don't breath anybody. But I'm dragging it over to the boss so we can cleave. I do usually just throw a wall here because this is when you have a Drake on you and Sinestra no longer has the 40% damage reduction. So, and your raid doesn't have the essence of the red yet, the big haste buff. So that's a really good time to wall right there while you're dealing with all that damage. And then this buff is awesome on Blood Decays. Like it increases your rune regen rate. So you get to just use tons of rune abilities. So that's pretty fun, just spamming. I was not maximizing them as best I could here, but you kind of have an embarrassment of riches here. It takes some time to get used to, just like how many resources you have available here. So you can see the damage is like quite a bit higher now. And for each of these breaths, they're going to hit a lot harder too. So things like AMS, mirror broken images, things like that are great to throw on those. Just some kind of cooldown's good. Whatever you can do. On this particular fight, we had a prop ally off tank. So he's going to be able to bubble off all his stacks of the whelp debuff. But if you don't have a prop ally off tank, you will need to do a tank swap at some point. So kind of the best time to do that is going to be when the off tank has gotten 2 sets of whelps, taken them away, killed them to drop their puddles, and then they're going to run up here to actually get the whelps killed for real. And at that time, that's when you would do the tank swap. And then if your job is to go out and get the whelps, basically when they spawn, just pick them up, typical just AoE threat and everything. And then you're going to tank them away a little bit because you don't want them to die too early from like melee cleave and stuff. And then if you're doing a strat like we're doing, where the Twilight Cutters are going to be going out this way, just really make sure that when you have the whelps, kind of just be by the raid until it's time to like take them away and kill them, drop the puddle. And when the whelps actually res and you're ready to kill them without dropping a puddle, just make sure you come like through this back part here, kind of close to the fire. That way you're never going to be in this like lane where people are like running with cutter. That's a mistake some people, we won't mention any names, but some people have made, and it's very, very embarrassing, and you don't want to be that person. So yeah, just come through this like close to the fire lane, so you're not at risk of getting hit by cutters. But that's pretty much how it goes. This is a really, really simple fight as like the main tank, because you're basically just standing in one spot the entire time. If you do end up like going to take care of ads, that's not too difficult of a role either. As I mentioned, you just pick them up, tank it back here. Then when it's time to kill them, you've got your 2 waves. Just take them over, kill them, drop the puddle, run over to the boss. You'll already have all your threats still, so you can just come right to the boss. You don't need to wait for them to respawn or anything. You can just run right here. They will all run to you because you kept all your threat on them, and you're good to go. But as kill times get quicker here too, you could, just kill 1 set, whatever works for kind of your kill times. But in general, we're doing 2 sets of whelps at a time. That's the whole fight right there. It's really not too bad as a tank. It's a pretty simple tank fight, honestly, but very fun because of that increased rune regen you get at the end. Hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.